Hey, folks. This is Randy Wilburn with I Am Northwest Arkansas. I'm here today with my good friend Carl Dunn, and we are talking about Juneteenth. Tomorrow, Friday, June 19th, is Juneteenth, and that is the day that all African Americans that were enslaved actually became free. And I think it's a date that a lot of people aren't currently aware of. They weren't familiar with the date. They didn't understand the celebration or the purpose behind it. Several companies now, with everything that's going on in the world, have decided to make Juneteenth a paid holiday, which I think is a huge thing. Obviously, a lot of people in the African American community know about Juneteenth, and essentially what it was that once the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, those that were in Texas decided to not say anything to any of the slaves that were there on their plantations because they wanted to get through with one more rotation of crops, and they wanted to have that free labor. And so they didn't say anything until the end of June, and they were like, black folks were like, "Oh my God, I work for free for 2.5, 3 months," and so that's symbolically. I think it's a microcosm of what slavery represented to African Americans as a whole. But there was a whole group of people that didn't know they were free for almost 3 months, and so that is part of the significance of Juneteenth. And so I really wanted to share that information with this audience. And as we are becoming more aware in our society, much less just here in Northwest Arkansas, I think it's important for us to figure out ways for us to have these dialogues and have these conversations. And so I wanted to bring on Carl Dunn. Carl is a friend of mine. He's a marketer. He's with what's the correct pronunciation of your company? Is it Etavani?
Yeah, Etavani. It's innovate backwards, so it's Etavani Media.
There you go. Innovate backwards. I like that. Okay. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, it makes perfect sense. So, Etavani Media. I love that. So, man, I'm so glad to have you on today. And I'd like to just talk a little bit about, and I'd love for you to tell the audience about your Juneteenth event tomorrow night. I want people that are here that can participate. It will be a virtual event. They can do it from the comfort of their home. They won't have to go out in this hot sticky air. They can sit in the AC, throw on the computer, and check out this event. But I would love for you to tell us a little bit about it, and then at the end we'll talk about how people can connect with you, how they can tune in, and we'll also talk a little bit about Let's Talk NWA. But the floor is yours. So thank you so much.
Well, first of all, thank you, Randy. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it for taking the time. I just wanted to basically say, like, I really appreciate it. I'm so humbled. But Juneteenth tomorrow, we having, just like you said, Juneteenth is when the slaves were free, and Texas decided not to tell anybody, who are in Texas or whatever. But we decided that this was a great moment, as you kind of alluded to, with the Floyd murder and a few other things, that we wanted to take the mantle up and go ahead and try to do something that could basically create unity and through something that's common that unites us, which is music. So we're gonna take this moment to lament a little bit and to celebrate the not only the talent that we have here in Fayetteville, Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas as a whole, but also to say, these voices matter, and the reason why they matter is because it's so much that has gone on and transpired in the last 400 years, and there's so far to go. So Juneteenth is symbolic of that, and we don't want this just to go by and be a celebration and then we're done. So much work that has to be done. So we decided, let's talk as an organization that's presenting it, and it's sponsored by Fayetteville Public Television. And shout out to Dan Robinson and his team. If it was not for him and the Nadlers, um, we could not do this. Shout out to Z and Gina as well. We have to take advantage of the opportunities that have been given us in this moment because America is listening. Some of that is because of COVID-19, and my heart goes out to anybody who's been affected by the virus for sure. And so we thought with Let's Talk, which is an organization that basically I'm on the board, and we focus on Black people and domestic violence and how we help them with domestic violence. I was raised in a home with violence. I was abused pretty much my whole life as far as youth goes. I was in a gang, very volatile upbringings in Little Rock, Arkansas. Definitely have gotten past that in life and have been able to change. and really help other young men as well along the way. And I volunteer in a lot of several ways and several capacities. So this is my way of giving back and trying to break that cycle of violence, which was perpetuated throughout the 400 years because we were brought over here violently. So that is constantly in our ecosystems as Black people, African American, African heritage people. So Juneteenth is kind of this is a culmination. Tomorrow is a culmination of a story that's been going on and a narrative that's been going on not only in the country but around the world as Black people need their voices to be heard. And the reason why is because of the atrocities that have been committed over the centuries. They haven't been made right. They have nobody's apologized. We should. They say we should get over it. Those are your ancestors. I hear these subtle things so much, but the reality is nobody is giving reparations to any of us. We don't have 40 acres in the mule. We can't. We don't have credit like our white brothers and sisters. By far, our education systems pale in comparison to our white brothers and sisters. So we have, not to mention gerrymandering, redlining, and redistricting. All these things plague our community. So this Juneteenth celebration, we're going to highlight all these things. And we're going to talk about them through each set that somebody is going to go on perform, and then we're going to have the MCs discuss some of these issues, ask questions about Juneteenth, ask questions about the history of South Fayetteville and the area and the gentrification that's going on in that area as well. We don't want this moment to go by without highlighting these things. And we try to not to vilify people when they're trying to develop, but the reality is gentrification is happening. So how do we fix it and come to a agreement on us Black people having that stake in those areas? So that's what this celebration is really for, to push the needle a lot more than it has been pushed in the past, because we feel like people are listening more than they have because they've seen some of the murders that's been displayed on television with George Floyd, with Ahmaud Arbery, with Breonna Taylor, and so many more before them, Trayvon Martin. So we're really tired. We're really heavy-hearted, and we want to lament and we want to understand, but we also want to increase change. So will there be a various few speakers at the event? It's 7 to 10. The address is 704 South Washington Street. It's the new George Floyd mural. The Niedermans are donating the building so we can do this. And Octavio Logo, who painted the mural, is a part of the helping get everything together as well. And we know there's some things in the background going on about this area. And the reason why we're there is to highlight everything that's going on, not just the good, but the bad as well, and to discuss and go meet some of the people that live in that area and see what it is that we can do to kind of combat some of the gentrification that's going on and some of the things that way people of color have get some kind of foothold on generational wealth. And that's what we've been lacking, as you know, historically. That's why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that. I shared the Juneteenth virtual concert image up in your corner there, so people that are watching this video can take a look at that. And you really want to just check this out. And I believe they'll be able to tap into the Let's Talk NWA Facebook page to see the virtual concert. Is that correct?
That's correct, and they can also tap into the Fayetteville Public Television Facebook page and YouTube channel to see it as well. So Fayetteville Public TV has been instrumental in bringing this to the forefront and making sure that this event is professional and making it become a reality. So Fayetteville Public Television, that you'll be able to access this event as well there too,
Yeah, no, that's
and my
yeah,
own personal
and your own page.
site as well.
Right, right. Well, yeah, we'll be sure to push that out. I think everybody should be aware of what's happening and how this this event is just part of the awakening of America. I think, and it's really important that we try to support these types of events, because if nothing else, I think the thing that we're struggling with right now is that so many of us, both black and white, don't know our history. And it's important for us to understand and embrace and understand the causality of things. Why are things the way that they are? You just figure, oh well, if I'm okay, then you must be okay. But the reality is that's not always the case. And the moment that we don't stop asking about how somebody else is doing, that's when we run into problems. And so I really, really appreciate you doing this. So there will be music, there will be poetry. What else will there be?
There'll be food served by Nate Walls, secondhand smoke. He'll be selling plates out there, and a percentage of the plate sale will go to Let's Talk or the Center of Sexual Assault because they're the actual 501c3. We're a program of that,
Hmm.
so it's a little a little sticky there. But I'm on the board, so I can request donations. But and also we'll have we may have t-shirts there. It's a possibility we may have t-shirts there be after the event, so people that watch the event they can have a chance to win cash app amounts. We go from 5, 10 to $15 till we reach our limit, which is like $150. We'll do it every 10 minutes after every performance, and we'll ask them questions centered around Juneteenth and the history of Fayetteville. That way, we're trying to get people engaged in what's going on with the area and the future of the areas, and then we'll reward them in that moment. It'll be post show because we got to see who answered the question right, and we got to go through that feed and make sure we can't do it live. But yeah, that's part of it as well. Not only will you see the talent and the performances and the spoken word and the poems, but also pastors will come and pray. They will speak with reflection and kind of capture what's happening with COVID-19 and the racial tensions that are happening right now. How do we reflect and time stamp this moment? So this is one way that we're going to do it, and we're going to use music to unite us versus divide us, because we feel that that's the best route to go for the future of the country and the future of this region and the future of Fayetteville.
Yeah. No, man. Said it perfectly. I think that so it's almost like this is a hybrid event, right? Because people can physically come down to that location and get some of Nate's secondhand smoke barbecue. Big shout out to Nate. He's been on the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. He is just an all around good guy. I'm so proud of everything that he's done, and I got to say that just in terms of what he's been able to do in this community as an African American, and it just as somebody that said, you know what, let me figure out a way to serve my community the best way that I know how. And he, I mean, and all of a sudden, just the floodgates of support have come in and really helped this brother to do some great things for both black and whites here in Northwest Arkansas, making sure young kids don't go to bed hungry.
Exactly. I want to just give a shout out to Nate as well. He's such a humble brother, and I've benefited from what you just said as far as the monumental support that he's been able to get, and that's something that I want to take my hat out to the Fayetteville Police Department. Um, some of that is because the region that we live in, and what they did with solidarity at the protests, and kneeling and stuff like that. That right there makes have hope. Believe in this region, even though its history is definitely tainted in some ways for Black people. But yeah, people like Nate has, man, I love Nate, and I've benefited from that support. So this region is I think is the cause of that as well. So
Yeah,
for both Black and white.
absolutely. I think, and other people like Mike Day, Yoga Elixir. I mean, there's just so many people out there, black-owned NWA, that have really started to develop and to ride on the coattails, if you will, of this pandemic that we're dealing with, as well as some of the social unrest that we are confronted with. I mean, it's always been there in the background, but it's at the forefront now. So many people have kind of risen to the occasion, both black and white. And I think, like they say, it takes a village, right? So we need everybody on board. I don't just need your support. I need the support of my white neighbors that live around me. I need the support of anybody that wants to see us create a better environment, a better society, not just for ourselves, but for our children, for their children and their children's children. So I think
Absolutely.
this is hugely important, and I just want to applaud you for everything that you're doing, and this is just going. I think it's going to be a great event, and I certainly want to encourage folks if they want to. You can go down and be socially distant and grab you some barbecue tomorrow night. That's from 7 to 10 o'clock, and give a shout out to the address again.
704 South Washington Avenue in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Okay, and that's where the George Floyd image is, mural is,
Yes.
right? Okay, yeah. So, and
Yep.
they had a prayer peace march down there not too long ago. So
Yeah.
so yeah, so they'll be able to
Yep.
take advantage of that. So, and Carl, just so that people know a little bit about your media and marketing company, because again, you are multidimensional, right? I mean, you can walk and chew gum. You can deal issues, and you're a businessman. I mean, I shared a very telling statistic just this morning on Instagram and some other places that um, you know during this pandemic, so from February of 2020 until April of 2020, there were 440,000 black owned businesses that are gone. Period. End of
Yeah.
story. And that represented 41% of the over 1 million black owned businesses that were here in the United States. That is devastating. Our white brothers that own businesses, they lost 17% of the number of businesses that they own. And we're twice as much. And it's not to compare one to the other, but that's going to have a huge impact in our community or in communities of color. And so when we say black owned or buy black or support black businesses, we're saying it because I think it's an important thing to do. And it's also an opportunity for a lot of black owned businesses to definitely step themselves up as far as how they do business and what they do, in orders of magnitude with regard to innovation, with regard to just doing business in an excellent way. And I mean, I'm working on that as a small black owned business. You're doing the same thing. But just real quickly, tell our audience exactly what you do from a marketing standpoint.
So my company, Edavani Media, started about 2.5 years ago, and we build websites. We also help companies to figure out their digital marketing strategy when it comes to multiple social media platforms, plus email marketing. And we also look at the Google Ads and connect your website to make sure that you're optimized from a mobile standpoint. So we cover the entire digital marketing stratosphere, and there's so much to it. When you got local assets like Yelp, and people don't think their reviews matter, but they do.
Oh,
So
they
we
do.
try to consult our clients in that way to include things on their social media platforms to get more reviews and things of that nature, just get more business in general, and then just have a presence. And some of it is branding as well. Some of these small business owners, they're one, two, three person mom and pop shop. They don't have a branding guide. They don't know what these things are, but we help them with those things, and we do it in a way to where it's super affordable, and we're very transparent when it comes to the price. The price is the price. We don't change it. You're not going to be paying tens of thousands of dollars to get a brand guide. We try to figure that out, and we try to do it on an hourly rate based on what you can afford. And we also have packages too for certain things, especially with our websites, because that's kind of a website is a website. So many pages you can get. But consultatively, we charge like $45 an hour, and that's the price. And people are like, that's affordable because we know small businesses can't normally afford, because I personally used to own two of them, a brick and mortar pizza place. So that I understand. So I want to, counter that with being able to help these small businesses get their digital marketing going and not beat them over the head with a huge ticket price.
Yeah, yeah, perfect sense. I appreciate that. What is the website?
www.edavonimedia.com, and that's ETAVONNI media MEDIA
.com. Perfect.
.com.
Yeah. All right, perfect. Can people find you on Instagram?
Yeah, I'm Carl Dunn, or Edavoni Media on Instagram. Dunn1, DUNNONE. I'm on Facebook, Carl Dunn Facebook. I'm on Twitter, face Carl Dunn 26, and I am on YouTube too, but that's Carl Dunn. All of them are Carl Dunn
Okay.
except Dunn1 on Instagram
Okay. All
and
right.
LinkedIn as well. I'm big on LinkedIn. That's probably my most used platform, and it's Carl Dunn as well.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day. This was kind of hastily, quickly put together. As I thought about it, I was like, man, I just want to share with my audience exactly what's happening. And I think the significance of Juneteenth. I'm not taking tomorrow off, but I am going to be um, thinking about the significance of the date. I'm going to participate in your event. And I just really wanted to do a small part to get the word out and share it with the widest audience possible. So this video will be available, and I encourage anyone that watches this video to share with a friend and let them know. Remember, sharing is caring. So that's all I can ask for. So, but Carl, thank you so much, man, for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Randy. It was a pleasure, and blessings to you and your family. Continue to remain healthy. We are still in the pandemic. We have to. I know people are like, why are you having this show? But because of the significance of the moment,
Yeah,
and that's just the line. So thank you so much for
absolutely.
having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh man, my pleasure, my pleasure. So
Absolutely,
thank you, man.
absolutely.
Well, folks, there you have it. Just a quick snippet, a quick episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas, virtually live here on Facebook. Really appreciate you taking the time out to hear what Carl was sharing and just hear from his heart about this Juneteenth event tomorrow. We'll make sure to put this information when we post it on Facebook, to put this information below the video so that you can know exactly what's going on and that you can check it out. But we really appreciate all the support that you can do. I mean, you need to be supporting all businesses right now. Businesses are hurting. Period. End of story.
Yeah.
Restaurants, you name it. So I really want to encourage you to go out there when and where possible, without going broke, without spending your last dollar, to support as many businesses as you can. And if you are in a position where you can give to others or give to organizations, there's so many great organizations like Carl's and so many others that are right here in Northwest Arkansas that are doing great things with the that are being good stewards of that which they oversee. And that's one of the things that I've said and I've discovered in doing the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast, is that this is the land of philanthropy, but they do it in such a special way. It's one of the reasons why Northwest Arkansas is so special to me. So go out there and do something amazing. And I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to check out this Facebook Live. And if you're watching this later, we thank you so much for tuning in. And please share this with a friend. I'm Randy Wilburn, the host of I Am Northwest Arkansas, and we'll see you soon. Peace.